Hi everybody, so we're talking about the new supply. Sometimes the new supply does the bidding of the narcissist. Ooh, sometimes, right? All the time. But one in particular thing that you'll see sometimes, not every time, sometimes, they go on a smear campaign about you on behalf of the narcissist. So if the new supply is somebody who's also prone to drama and somebody who likes to gossip, your business is everybody's business, hey, right? So they go and they start talking a bunch of shit about you based on what the narcissist has told them. So an example I gave previously is, when a narcissist connects with a new supply, they feed them a bunch of bullshit. And it's usually like during the love bombing phase, it's all about faking like legitimate connections. Like, oh, you love puppies, I love puppies too. I had a puppy and I really liked him, but, I had to get rid of him. And then they go into this whole sad story about how they had to get rid of the puppy because of you, because you're a bad person, right? So sometimes the new supply is the kind who's inclined to gossip or to air it out on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter book, whatever. Hold on. Pardon me for being rude. It wasn't me. It was my food. It just popped up to say hello, but now it's gone back down below. Anyways, they the kind to air your laundry on their line, right? And this is what you should do. I've done other videos on the smear campaign, and the result is basically, or the strategy is pretty much the same when it's a new supply as it is to the narcissist. A lot of the dynamics are the same. However, there are some subtle differences, right? First of all, it's not the actual narcissist who's doing it. It's somebody who's almost entirely a complete stranger. That makes things a little bit easier because they typically don't have as much sway over your close circle as a narcissist does. Right? So a narcissist has probably been very invasive in your life and found the people who they can resonate with and the people who they cannot. But a new supply doesn't have all of the unfettered access to your social circle as the narcissist. In some ways that makes it better, in other ways that makes it worse. Because they're outside that circle, all the shit that they talk can turn into time bombs that can still suddenly crop up years after. So, it may very well be the new supply, eventually they break up with the narcissist, and it could be years, and 5-7 years afterwards, when you're talking to somebody, they'll say, you know what I heard about you one time? Like, it didn't seem like you, and the more I think about it, and I heard a rumor about how you kicked a puppy, and I thought, well, that doesn't really sound like you. What's the deal with that? And you're like, never had a dog. Really? Well, maybe they were talking about somebody else. No, I'm pretty sure it was me. It was Sally Supply talking her shit, gossiping. Now, you should always refer to a smear campaign as gossip. I don't know when, where, how, or why the terms changed from gossip to smear campaign. But yeah, it's just gossip. Maybe it's just a different term because it's malicious gossip and it's falsified gossip as opposed to just actually sitting around and discussing your legit business. I don't know. Jedi care not for such things. So how do you engage the new supplies smear campaign? Well, pretty much the same rules still apply. You don't engage it. Not directly. You just say, well, yeah, I figure Sally Supply is a gossiper. I heard Sally Supply gossips a lot. So consider the source. But you don't really try to address it with the new supply. You don't ever confront them. I hear you talking a lot of shit. And they're like, I don't talk shit, I just tell it like it is. Right? You always that's one of the hallmarks of somebody who gossips. They're like, I'm not talking shit, I just tell it as I see it. I tell it like it is. Justifying it, right? Like they're some sort of superhero. I tell it like it is. I don't let nobody disrespect me. Right? I fight back. Well, if you're talking shit, then yeah, you're gossiping. There's a difference between not letting somebody disrespect you and then going around and talking shit behind the backs. If you don't want somebody to disrespect you, if you feel disrespected by somebody, you show up and you tell them to their face. You don't go spreading a bunch of shit behind their back. That's passive aggressive. And if that's you, it's a toxic habit you have, and you need to fix that about yourself. Yes, it is absolutely healthy to not allow people to disrespect you. But you have to be direct. You have to be assertive, and you have to handle it with that person. If you handle it passive aggressively, then you're really no better than the people who are committing a smear campaign against you, and you look no better than the people who are committing a smear campaign, right? So then later on when they're like, yeah, I heard from Sally Supply saying blah, 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 they're like, oh yeah, I know, and I called her out on it to her face. That was fun. But yeah, I already dealt with her over that. She was talking a bunch of shit behind my back. So I talked to her face, and you know what? She got kind of quiet. So that's what you do. But you know, it is what it is. It's bullshit. And whenever it's going on behind your back, as always, you have to rely on the ability of others to eventually cut through bullshit and to see through the bullshit. And like I said, when it's the new supply instead of the narcissist, you're going to see this smear campaign effect happening further outside your circle. There's going to be some longer lasting time bombs there. You're not really, there'll be times where you might lose somebody close to you. If the new supply happens to be close to you, right? But if they're a stranger, then it's mostly just out there in the ether. And, there might be somebody out there who, without this, might have eventually been a friend, but because they heard some bullshit ahead of you, they don't want anything to do with you, and you never end up being friends. So it's more of an opportunity cost, kind of, opportunity lost, opportunity cost type effect. You get more little hidden social time bombs that just sit out there like little landmines. But again, it's a mistake for you to proactively go out and try to address it. One of the biggest pitfalls, I think, of proactively addressing the smear campaign is they may very well bait you. Like, they may actually say, oh, well, I told Huey, Dewey, and Louie about it. Well, they might actually be lying. They probably haven't spoken to Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So whenever you go to Huey, Dewey, and Louie and talk your shit about the new supply, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I don't even know this person, and you're talking shit about them, right? You can fall into that trap, too. So, yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. When it's the new supply, if you get the opportunity to talk to them face-to-face about it, then you can deal with them face-to-face. But if they're still head over heels over the narc, if they're still in the love bombing phase and the honeymoon phase, it's not really going to do any good. You just do as you always do and don't give anybody a reason to believe the bullshit. You be you. Act as if it's not going on. And whenever you do hear about it, you say, well, it's unfortunate. But, Sally Supply is that's what she does. She gossips. No, it's not true. Thanks for letting me know. I figured she would be gossiping. It sucks that my friends are gossiping about me behind my back, but I'm glad you told me. I figured as much. So, anyways, that's all I got on this one. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.